Hey guys, this is Daniel with Gardening Done Right, and today we're going to talk about how to transplant a Magnolia seedling. I've got two here. Um, they are both very small. This one's in pretty poor health. I don't think it's going to really make it, so we're not going to focus on this guy today. We're just going to focus on this one. The first thing you're going to want to start out with, though, is I like to start them with a base of charcoal. And that's going to just help make sure you have good drainage, and the charcoal is going to help break down and make the soil a little more neutral. These guys like to have a pH of about 6.5 to 7.5. They are native to Georgia, so they are acclimated to that lower pH, but again, they do prefer to have that more neutral pH. The first thing you're going to want to do is, like I said, you're going to want to start out with some charcoal. I've got that in the base. I've got about an 1.5 to 2 inch layer of charcoal down there. And then you're gonna wanna add the soil. I'm just using, like I always do, a cheap potting soil. And I'm gonna do this in layers. So my first layer is gonna be just potting soil on top of the charcoal. And then I'm gonna come in with my favorite, of course, the Sure Start. We're gonna add in a light dusting of Sure Start in there as well. The Sure Start's just going to help this guy start to produce some good roots. That's your key with your small transplant seedling cuttings like this, is to get the root system established as fast as possible. I'm going to fill up this whole thing with dirt, and then we'll come back and plant. And I'll explain why as we're going along. There's another layer. We're going to skip the Sure Start on the second layer, and we'll go up to this third layer. Make this one a little thinner, and then we'll put on a good healthy layer of Sure Start with that. Again, guys, Sure Start is no burn. It does not cause any kind of fertilizer burn, and you're gonna mix that one in. Don't just put it on top and put more soil on top. Mix that one in really well. Incorporate it into the soil. Final layer of Sure Start, soil. A little bit more. This one you're going to want about a 1/2 inch of to the top of your pot. I do this like I always do for all my potted plants, just so that way I can have a little bit of water retention in here. This soil is already fairly wet, so I probably won't water it today. I'll wait until tomorrow or the next day, just so that way we don't overwater it. And then we're gonna start just kind of clearing out a hole. You're gonna wanna clear out you a hole just big enough and deep enough to where you can get the root system down in there. The hole is probably 5 to 6 inches deep. I did that just so that way I can get that way I can get the plant's root system down in there completely. And then we're gonna go over to the Magnolia. This one does have some leaf scale on it. You can see that right there. Not too worried about it right now. Most of your leaf scale does go dormant in the winter, but come spring you are going to want to get an insecticide on your leaf scale. Systemic preferably, because these guys are really hard to get when you don't have any kind of anything to get them. You see, there's not a whole lot of root system there, so we don't have a whole lot to work with here, but if you do follow my principles, you should get good results. And I'm just going to get this guy down in the center of the pot as best I can. Now that you can see he's settled into the center of the pot, I'm going to take a little bit, and I do mean a very little bit of the Sure Start, and dust it over the root system. Only put probably a tablespoon to a little bit more than, probably a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of Sure Start onto the root system. At this point, you're going to take your excess soil you have built up around the edges, and you're going to start backfilling. Make sure you do not overfill it past where, in my case, you can see where the water line is on the trunk of the tree. It's right there. You can see the darkness where it changes to light, and I'm not going to go past that. And there it is, guys. I've got it all planted, and hopefully it will start producing some good, healthy new growth. As you can see, The pot I've selected for this guy is probably about a foot tall and about 10 inches wide. And I don't want to give it much more room than that while trying to get it to establish new roots, just because it will hold too much water then at that point, and it will cause a lot of root rot. The best way to combat root rot is just make sure your pot size is adequate for the plant you're trying to grow, and then control your watering. If the plant doesn't have, if it's dry down to about a 2-inch level, it'll be okay to go ahead and water. I do the finger test for this. What I'll do is I'll stick my finger down in there up to about my knuckle right there, about the main bend in your finger. And if it comes out dry right there, I'll know it's time to add water. If it comes out and there's any kind of real soil attached to your finger like that, I'm not talking about dust, I'm talking about clumps of soil, then you can go ahead and just give it a couple more days. It'll be dry in no time. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see. Thanks. Have a good day.